Holy night, everyone, and welcome back to Manic Episodes. We're celebrating Christmas 2022 with a banger, folks, so hold on to your stockings and sweep up your chimneys, because Santa's in the barn. Santa's in the Barn was simultaneously a game changer and a hidden gem, a masterpiece of Yuletide cheer, and the definitive answer to the age-old question, who is America's best Santa?
Ho, ho, ho! Ha! No.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, 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 ho!
Ho, ho, ho!
Now, how many of you guys been to Santa school?
Oh, heck yeah.
It's a Christmas explosion.
I love s'mores. Who doesn't love s'mores?
Where's the spirit?
Twists and turns. Oh my goodness.
Does that look stupid? We'll see.
Yep.
Back in 2015, True TV conceived of the first and so far only season of this television tour de force, wherein professional and amateur Santas competed against each other in a series of physical and mental challenges. We're talking sleigh rides, Christmas carol lyrics, duels against Krampus, Santa versus Santa, a Christmas brawl to crown the ultimate Kris Kringle and win 100,000 buckaroonies. If you aren't under the impression that I love Santa's in the Barn, I have failed you, because this rules, dude.
I shake my beard back and forth. I shake my beard back and forth.
You might be wondering, as I did, why this show is called Santa's in the Barn. There is a barn that they do some activities in, but it's not really where they spend the majority of their time. Well, after being alerted by a knowledgeable fan, I discovered that this is a remake of, or at least probably not coincidentally inspired by, a Norwegian program called Nisne på Låven. The name translates to Gnomes in the Barn, because in Norway that's their equivalent to Santa Claus. Aired in 2001, the show was basically the same format, with two notable exceptions. One, the show took place in a barn mostly, so the name actually makes sense. And two, it was a parody of reality shows. So beyond that, this review and Santa's in the Barn really has nothing to do with it, but it was indeed a weird choice to remake this straight. Now back to Santa's in the Barn.
You liked all the dismembered limbs and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put you on a little watch list.
Now, I gotta address the reindeer in the room here, and that's that not everyone here is a traditional Santa per se. You see, Santa's in the Barn was not interested in everyone being the same holly jolly fat man you're used to. They were looking for Santas of all types, because Santa can be anyone if their heart is in the right place. And also, they wanted people with gimmicks. First, you got the Santas you might expect, whom they call the vintage Santas. The most original recipe Santa is Santa Paul, whose distinguishing feature is that he has an enchanting collection of comically large hats.
Oh my goodness, I have so many hats.
Then you got Santa Lauren, aka the surfing Santa who works at SeaWorld, Santa D, aka the real black Santa, and Santa Carl, aka Pirate Santa. Moving into the non-traditionals, you have Santa Brandon, who runs the adult-themed SantaCon.
I don't have any kids.
Good for you, dude.
Santa John, a husband and a family man who isn't really explained that well.
I've been playing Santa Claus almost all my life. When I'm not Santa, I'm a husband and I'm a family man.
Santa Steve, a firefighter who looks like every lead in a Hallmark movie. Santa Amber, a military wife. And Santa Joy, a mom who puts her name on everything. And then you have the third category with only one person, not a Santa at all. Meet Tommy the Elf, aka the real elf on the shelf.
Oh, I haven't seen you since Christmas. Good morning, North Pole family. Santa! That's not even the whole name.
We'll assume it's Tommy the Elf they're referring to.
This doesn't look like a gift. It looks like a bomb threat. I'm just gonna hang out here for a while.
I love Tommy the Elf. Tommy the Elf is by far the biggest highlight of this show. And I don't just mean because he has highlighter, like, all over his face. I never once questioned why he was here, despite the fact he never seems to pretend to be a Santa, and host John Gabris straight up admits why he was brought on.
Yeah, you're the affirmative action pick.
He just has such a great positive energy about him. He's always jumping in people's arms and running in a silly way and waving around his adorable mittens. Look at those mittens. I can't even. And yes, he does do this professionally. You can hire Tommy the Elf right now to come to your parties or take Elfies or just have a good time. He seems like a sweet, genuine person. That's the thing that draws me into Santa's in the Barn. It's a reality show where the contestants are all very kind, well-meaning people. You tune in for Santa carnage, but stay for the warm, hot cocoa in your soul. Also, you get to see many casual Santa outfits, and that's a real treat.
Oh boy, did it again.
Each episode is structured as so. They wake up on Christmas morning and open gifts to determine who will be the team leaders, compete in stocking stuffers that give them an advantage in the main challenge, the Santa Snowdown, and then finish out their day with a Christmas dinner elimination. But they don't want to be selfish with the prizes. The winners of the stocking stuffers always get some elaborate dessert they end up sharing with everyone else anyway. You will not see a shortage of people eating sweets on the show. You will see Santas eating cookies, cake, candy, and anything and everything they can swallow down with milk. And what do you expect? That's part of Santa's thing.
I think I've had enough cookies to last me a lunchtime.
But it did surprise me, knowing this, the number of physical challenges they throw their way. While they definitely have stocking stuffers and snowdowns that test their Christmas knowledge, there are like a lot of challenges that require these very hefty old men to run around and potentially injure themselves. I know we all believe in Santa here, but let's be real. The vintage Santas are men in their 60s at the lowest, who are fueled mostly by Christmas spirit. They do include some dialogue to assure viewers that they had to pass at least 2 physicals to compete on the show, but it's still more than some of the contestants expected. And I guess this would be happening regardless of the arduousness of the challenges, but back at the Santa house, you are going to be seeing a lot of old men taking naps. This is a little much for these grandpas. Candy and cookies will only take them so far. At one point, Santa Brandon is concerned for Santa Carl's health and tries to convince folks to vote him off early for his own safety. This might have been interpreted as a strategy to move forward in the game because he's rewarded with getting the boot himself. But personally, I think he was being sincere, since he seems to have a story arc happening where he considers getting into professional Santadom. This overjoys the vintage Santas, who take him under their wing to try and teach him the Santa way. Before he's booted out, I mean. The most memorable challenge to me is in no small part because they blatantly use props from the movie Gremlins. These are like hilariously low-effort modifications. I don't know if they licensed these out or what, but the only nod toward the movie Gremlins is when someone calls them gremlins in passing.
Those are like gremlins.
Santa Steve calls them chupacabras.
These chupacabras.
And John Gabris compares them to a terrifying Yoda.
Like a terrifying Yoda.
I kinda lean toward them hoping people didn't notice they were gremlins, because the challenge specifically has to do with Christmas movies, and again, Gremlins is not mentioned. That description makes it sound simple, though, and this challenge is needlessly convoluted. These gremlins are presented as Caraconzolas, Serbian goblins that leap onto people's backs around Christmas to annoy them mostly. In order to stop the Caraconzolas, they need to set fire to the Yule goat. But in order to set fire to the Yule goat, they have to catch some actual goats with logs attached to them.
They're so darn cute, I just can't believe my eyes.
These logs have the names of Christmas movies on them, which they must stack in order of their release date, which in turn will set the Yule goat on fire. And yet, when they complete the challenge and go back home, they still have Caraconzolas on their back, so what did burning the Yule goat do? A confusing bit of world building, if you ask me. You think the world building is a joke, but truly, there's an ongoing storyline where they are under attack by the Krampus.
It's time for the war on Krampus. Krampus is Santa's nemesis, and now he's yours. Krampus giveth a Santa back, but now Krampus taketh a Santa away.
Krampus is around. Where is he? Krampus again.
It seems as though that Christmas criminal, the Krampus, has struck again.
This is, simply put, amazing. We never see him, but his presence is constantly known. He's always causing mischief and ruining Christmas for everyone else, leaving the Santas to clean up the mess. Further adding to their confusing Santas in the Barn lore, when the Santas create a Krampformer toy, they include some S's on it for Santa, which one little girl points out makes no sense.
But then the disguise wouldn't make any sense.
Right, that's true.
Whole story annihilated. Also, why did Krampus bring Santa D back? After being eliminated, he's brought back onto the show with no further explanation than Krampus did it. This suggests there's some nefarious scheme on Krampus's part. In fact, Santa Lauren thinks perhaps Santa D is a shapeshifted Krampus in the real Black Santa form.
You're not here as Krampus, though, are you?
No.
But to hear it from Santa D, this is more of a festive cocoon type situation.
I got fresh legs, fresh arms, fresh body.
So it turns out that, I guess, Krampus just did a nice thing for no reason. Kinda calls into question why he has this beef with everyone else, but I guess him and Santa D are buddies.
Krampus loves causing trouble. That mean old Krampus brought back one of our biggest competitors.
Did it take like 6 different interviews to piece together that little soundbite? But Santa D's a stand-up guy, so he wins everyone's favor back by doing a magic trick. Good enough for me! When a team loses the Santa Snowdown, they're on the naughty list and up for elimination. Whoever leaves is determined by frosting cookies with their name on it, after which they must turn in their hat.
Merry Christmas to all, but to John, it's good night.
I absolutely love this Survivor-style elimination, but with Santas and sugar cookies. And the dinners look delicious, I must say.
We'll start with you, Tommy.
Well, can I finish my turkey first?
But even when musing over who must go home, generally the Santas try to say something nice and leave with grace. I'm not sure what the people creating the show were expecting, but it kinda seems like John Gabris is trying to perhaps cause a rift between the Santas.
Drama!
Like when one of them uses the Christmas pudding, a secret Santa gift that allows them to put someone from the winning team up for elimination, he acts like it's scandalous that this thing that was meant to be used was used. Also, it kinda annoyed me when Santa Steve made a sorta funny joke and then John Gabris just repeats it like he said it.
I will get my first cookie frosted tonight. I just hope whoever does that is gentle.
You guys heard him. After the dinner, make sure when you frost his cookie, it's gentle.
To be fair to Mr. Gabris, this show was not entirely without drama. In fact, the Santas are walking quite the tightrope by trying to play strategically while also upholding their Santa values. And that's by design. Each challenge is meant to test their loyalty to the Santacratic Oath.
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 The Santacratic Oath?
The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath.
The Santacratic Oath.
The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath.
The Santacratic Oath.
The Santacratic Oath. The Santacratic Oath.
Basically, can they knock each other down like red and green bowling pins while still being Santa? Well, some folks took issue with even playing the game. Santa Paul is given the Nice List, a secret Santa gift that will allow him to save another Santa from elimination. He tries to be sneaky by acting like he doesn't have it, which other players feel is too underhanded and un-Santa-like.
That is not the Santa way.
This is by far the biggest fight they have in the house, and yet even that is smoothed over by the end. In fact, it's pretty far into the game before Santa Paul receives a single vote against him, because he's pretty well liked by everyone.
Don't shoot your eye out.
And really, there's nothing wrong with being competitive if you're a good sport. Santa John came in on the first episode going too hard, too fast, too aggressive.
Get in there!
He immediately starts trying to form an alliance, and he's not even on the losing team. And everyone thinks that's super weird, and he just keeps getting madder and madder, like, it's simple math, people! But I mean, he's trying to form an alliance with everyone, so I don't think he's even playing well.
I want to form an alliance. Are you willing to form an alliance? I'm trying to form a 5-person alliance.
That's probably why he got ousted with the Christmas pudding, an actual strategic move that worked.
I got the pudding.
We can only be glad he never made it to the Christmas Carol math challenge because he wasn't good at it. And then the rest of the contestants proceed to create alliances. It's kind of hilarious to imagine Santa John watching this and just like steam coming out of his ears.
My blood's boiling right now.
Inevitably, there's a line drawn between the vintage and non-vintage Santas.
I'm protecting my old school homies.
I really think that the bearded Santas are kind of full of reindeer.
The non-vintages want to stay in the game and prove that anyone can don the red suit, and the vintage Santas believe the winner should be in the classical mold. John Gabris calls Amber Santamber at one point.
Santamber, you're up first.
I'm not one to discriminate against Santas. In fact, I would have loved to see Tommy the Elf take the whole thing personally. But I totally get where the vintages are coming from. I mean, when they go see kids at the mall, Santa Steve decides he's not even gonna be Santa. He comes up with a story about being some sort of fireman bodyguard for Santa. It doesn't make any sense to me because when he does his intro video, we see pictures of him actually dressing up as Santa for his friends' kids. And yet here, he's just too committed to the fireman bit. If I was a kid in this situation, I would wonder why I was talking to Santa's fireman friend.
I think Steven doesn't have a snowball's chance in the North Pole.
I mean, I think a snowball would have a great chance in the North Pole. But all of that drama is pretty minor, because in the end, this is a show that's just joy from start to finish. The minute these Santas arrive at the house, we're treated to a montage of pure Christmas delight.
This is the most wonderful place in the world.
Look at Rudolph! Bunk beds! Look at all this!
Cookies.
Look at all these hats! Wrapping paper, ribbon.
I can't think of the last time I saw a group of people filled with such childlike wonder, and that's really what to watch for on this show. I mean, the challenges are fun, but I truly was just fascinated by the people involved. Santa Lauren once appeared on a jetpack. Santa Paul competed in the Santa Olympics. I don't even know what the Santa Olympics are, but those two words bring a smile to my face.
I competed in the Santa Olympics in Norway.
And one quality I noticed about the Santas is their eagerness to share and teach. We hear not only oodles and oodles of Christmas facts in this show, but we also learn about scented beards and custom Santa outfits, and witness touching moments where they share meaningful treasures and heartwarming stories. As silly as this can seem at times, this is truly a craft, and one that requires kindness overall. There's something so special about someone who decides to play Santa, with a warm heart and a want to do good for the world. It's something that's very difficult to master and takes work and practice. Heck, I wouldn't be able to play Santa. But these folks open themselves up and make kids believe in magic. They may be old men with beards or firemen that belong in a calendar, but they take their craft seriously because they see it as a responsibility to keep that magic alive. Tommy the Elf, while not a Santa, started doing this because he survived cancer and wanted to make people smile while raising money for nonprofits. Santa D wanted black kids to see themselves in Santa Claus. Santa Amber helps vets around the holidays. Santa Paul is in tears as he tells the other Santas what it means to help sick and underprivileged children have just a little bit of happiness. Everyone has a story and a mission. There's a camaraderie that makes this an entertaining and ultimately good-spirited show. Santa's in the Barn was not a hit, but I think it's worth seeking out if you want to feel good. It'll make you laugh, it might just touch your heart, and it's a whole lot of fun. Merry Christmas, everyone.
That is
The Santa way!
Oh, I slay myself sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish